She's a little brown spaniel, real cute.
All
I
right.
guess we're
Hello,
gonna get shut
Lance.
down
Hello,
here. It looks
David.
like. See ya.
Thank you, David.
See you all.
Appreciate the coming on.
And Lance, too.
Yeah,
Get the young guys
yeah.
on here.
See you, Ken. I don't see.
Don't know. I
12:23.
thought he was going to be over in the center of the square, but he told me he wasn't going to. He could have walked from his door over there.
You
but
were
he
there,
wasn't
John?
going to do it.
Who is David on our picture? I can't see him. David, do you have a last name?
Oh yeah, you know me. You got me into the chapter a number of years ago.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I saw Mike saying he was eating yogurt. It looked more like ice cream to
Yes.
me.
And what's your last name, David?
Farnham.
Oh, David. All right. I was thinking lemon and all the David that was running through.
Don't insult me like that.
Well, good to be with you. Montgomery hint, Don Witt has the moment for introspection, and he's going to sing a song from 1947. And,
Oh, wow.
and that's all I can tell you about that. We heard a preview of it at Bojangles this morning.
Well, I saw John yesterday afternoon, and part of the reason I'm on Zoom today is to listen to his presentation and also get some update from what Lois is up to with that cuts and calls.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
What's the program today, Ken?
John Montgomery on how to find treasures, John. I think you could probably give this talk. What does he say? The official title.
I don't know about finding treasures.
The Art of the Hunt is the title by John Montgomery. And I think it's going to have to do sons from Alabama to Michigan. He and his wife go every year and bring back stuff.
You mean antique-wise?
Yeah, I think so, or something he thinks is memorial. How you say it? Memorabilia. Help me, Mike. You can pronounce that word. Memorabilia.
Yeah, I'm in the mood of getting rid of it and not collecting it.
Oh, see John Montgomery. He'll buy you out. Well, I think he has to travel at least 100 miles to get it. If it's local, he doesn't want it. He likes to. That's part of the art of the hunt, I believe.
I didn't know that he did that.
Yeah, he's got a little. I went down to his little store. It's in an antique market there at where Gus Nix comes into Orange Avenue, and he's got a couple of booths. But the amazing thing, I went by and bought some stuff. He had some Davidson stuff, and I bought them. My phone rang that afternoon. He saw what was sold, and he could tell who bought it because he knew me well enough to know Oregon State and Davidson College. So he said, "Did you visit my store today?"
It's the
secrecy,
store that sit back in an old shopping center.
Yeah, behind the Dairy Queen up on the hill there.
I haven't been in that in years.
Yeah. Well, John's got an interesting display.
I'll have to put that on my register. Yeah. Does he spend much time over there?
I have no idea. I don't see how he doesn't have much time with he works 80 hours a week for the Kiwanis Club.
There's Chris on there this morning. Morning, Chris.
Rouse. He's campaigning for votes. Are we eligible to vote on Zoom?
Who's running for what?
Chris Rouse has been nominated to be our next director. He's certainly got my support. A wonderful young leader, I think, and as we continue to have these almost children coming along and leading our club.
Well, you got to realize that we were children when we joined, too.
I guess you're right, yeah.
I was a poor little structural engineer with AC Mountain and Mountain.
What do you know about Kiwanis? Nothing. But you did okay, John.
Well, actually, I got conned in it by Nick Vineyard. Said that it was a friend of the family. He says, you got to join the Kiwanis Club, period.
Had a call from a former pastor of ours, Doug Paysor, last night, or sent me a text about visiting our Kiwanis Club. Doug's recovering from leukemia. He had a tough battle and had the stem cell, but I think he's there today with Don Witt as his host, maybe a prospective member.
The only trouble with me is I'm so old, I don't know anybody that's young enough to join.
John, that's very true, isn't it? I've hit the same thing.
I mean, when you were working, you always had, H.C. Mountain put in 6 or 7 people into the club. Vern Danielson is one of them, and Don Ritt and a few others. So, but now, probably could entice my wife to join you.
Nice to see you all today. Thank you for being here. It's a nice cool spot. Most hot day. I don't know about you, but ish degrees this weekend. Maybe I'll get to use my porch this summer. I'm Jane Billigan, Kiwanis Club of Roanoke, for a few short weeks. We're not coming though. So much to everyone who came out for our inner club last week. We had a wonderful time at for all the folks who organized that for us. Many of them were okay. It was a lot. Those of us who were able to be there really enjoyed the time to just socialize. And I want to mention something on a more serious note. Hi Nicely is with us today, and Hi is experiencing serious. So I want all of you to be thinking about that, please. And if you have an interest or know somebody who has an interest, you can talk to Hi about it. You could also kidney donor services there. That is where the procedure will take place when Hi does receive the kidney he needs. So let's all please keep him in our thoughts and hope that he finds a match soon. Our introspection and our Pledge of Allegiance.
This is a different introspection than you're used to. Actually, I'm going to sing the introspection. Now, several told me that don't quit your day job, so don't expect a lot. But anyway, this is a song that was composed in 1947, and it became popular with the Kingston Trio in its 60s or early 60s. I'm singing, so here we go. I'm happy to take the German. I'm a taking Polish. How you like anybody does. But I can thank and living now the mushroom shaped cloud. I'm one they're rioting. It sure doesn't do us. We'll be done by our pain. Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think all right.
Yes, I do. Our speaker is about yes. Yes, and I stand along with your Kiwanis host. That would be after I call everyone's name. And I'm going to start the first guest to arrive, who is Laura of Legal Aid Society. And she is a guest, she's back here, of Melissa Woodson, who is a new member. Doug Thor is a guest of Don Witt, and they're right over here, Don's church, and has been here before. Mark Hendrickson is here with Sheila Umberger, right here in the center table. And Mark is also retired. Debbie Reardon is with Queen Bee Marketing, and she's way in the back. And she's a guest of Bert Boyd, and Bert has three other guests, Josh Sal of Arbor Docs, and Percy Weatherford, also with Arbor Docs, and Thomas Hope with Arbor Docs. So got a lot of Arbor Docs with us today. Well, guest of Bert. Michael Frenzies is, or Mike Frenzies, where is Mike here? Over here. Mike is a guest of the club. This is his third or fourth week of just getting a recommendation to come to Kiwanis. It's a great place to meet people, and he took the advice. Teresa Lilly is here again, and she's with Betsy Bohannon, and she is from the Mass store. She works at the Mass store. And Stacy Reese is here with Melissa. Where is Stacy? Oh, she's hiding over here. Stacy's here. Stacy Reese. She's with Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And George Harrington is back at the back table. And George is a barber, and one of his customers is Bert Boyd. And finally, we have Kitty and Kathy Ricky, who seem to be friends of our speaker, John. And they're over here, their guests of George. You all.
Thank you, everyone, for bringing guests today. We are going to start out a bit early because the first, I think, on Friday. So here today, and your birthday's in August. We'd love to have you stand, and then Judy's going to play the birthday song for you. So August the 3rd is my good relative. August the 4th is my chunk. August the 6th is Amy Carter back in the back. August the 11th, Alex Barge, Guy Hill, both sitting at the same table, and Harry Zula next to each other. August the 18th is Rachel Hopkins. August the 19th, John Hamilton. I know he's here today. August the 21st, Nick Hagan. August the 92. And we also have Ellie. Right. Okay. Are we ready? Oh, I'm Cynthia Gray's here today, and she is August 9th. Okay, here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Dear Columbus, happy birthday to you. Okay, Jerry Hartman is next on our agenda with our election of a new board member.
Yes, I am delighted. We are at this juncture of having a wonderful nominee to fill the vacancy. I'm giving over to the club, I think it was. And so our order of business today is for this club to elect our incoming board member. Since there is not a nominee. So at this time, I'm going to ask please take time and put our big thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, I think he's going to be a great addition.
All right, next up,
we got Chair's Initiative. So Harry and Jeff Vick, or Jeff Vick solo.
These tickets that there'd be a comedy slapstick routine, so it's a little extra. Anyway, greetings, Kiwanians. You might have noticed that there's been a proliferation of chairs up here. They are breeding more and more guests. So I'm not going to encourage you too much today to bring them. You're already doing a great job, but I wanted to point out where we are on this Fill the Chairs campaign. Bill Best Pitch brought Ollie a couple weeks ago. We have Jason is going to bring Chester next week. Ken invited his Scott White to come. Fred and I have invited our spouses. They couldn't get out of that one, I guess. But there's still some of you who've committed to bring guests, and we know we're going to keep asking folks and keep getting them to come. We have guests today, then I could put up here in chairs and still have places for you to sit. So you're doing great. I try to invite somebody once a day. Hey, look, you want to be part of something great? Come join us at Kiwanis. We're really working hard in the city to make this a place that I wanted to move to. Our newest person up from area. Let's build this city to realize its potential. And I thank you for what you've done up to this point. Moving forward, we're not going to be adding any more chairs because, again, we're running out of places to sit. But let's keep the guests coming. And remember, you bring the guest, we'll do the rest. We're going to get those guests. We're going to talk to them about being members. We can work together to make this a place that we not all want to live in, but others will want to live in too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. That was awesome. Okay. We've got our Ducky Derby. Don Wick, come on back up.
That's the bad. The good news is out of 155 clubs, I think we've sold about $840 worth of tickets. 860, my associate says. That's great. Bad news is not everybody has contributed. Darn it. I can take your money and raffle. I can thank you.
Thank you, Doc. So the funds Ducky Derby go to NICUs, neonatal intensive care units, and hospitals throughout the region, and our local affiliate is one of the beneficiaries. I'm going to go a lot so that we can get mine done. I like to accept presidential privilege every once in a while. We have Tuesday, August 5th at 10 o'clock in the morning at the Mill Mountain Square. So we have been renaming the Star for a year in honor of the community who embodies the spirit of Kiwanis. And we will be doing Tuesday for Susan Williams, who lost her year. And you are all invited to participate. It is some of her family members will be joining us as well. And I encourage you to join us for that event. We'll be speaking as well as Ronnie Boyd, who's with Local on Aging. And I'll do a little speaking too. The Brookside Golf Course is going to be August the 9th. This is Saturday. That's noon to 4 p.m. Now that's a new event. This is actually being Business Association, but our Kiwanis Club is a co-sponsor of the event as well. And this is something that the governor's office has initiated, and it's an opportunity to get young people off their phones, off their technology, and get outside and enjoy nature and do something fun. So it's going to be noon to 4 p.m. and all are welcome to participate. Our next meeting is meeting today at 1:35 immediately. It will be in this space. Grant application deadline is August the 15th. So not that Randy Myers, and he can help you out if you have any questions about that. Randy can also help you with that. And just as a reminder, if you're a Kiwanis member who is sponsoring a grant application, please make sure you know what's in the grant and that you sign it and that you help announce any sweat equity. Okay, I'm going to ask Barry Hartman to come back up. That's who Haney can come up, and also James. Now, Chairman, co-chairman with Dom and City. Some special invitations for you all. So check out the newsletter, which Alex does a great job with, and get more information about that. Western Community College. We are invited to the so please come join us. Western Community College. Thank you. Hello, everyone. 4,000 the street. I give us some focus. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. Brilliant. And she taught me about it. And so we've joined the party a little late this year, but it's called with Cop. And basically it started out a few years ago for children before they went back to school. And it has earned 600 backpacks for kids going back to school. They provide 600 pairs of shoes and socks for kids as well as so it's great this year. So we contributed as a group financially. So thank you very much to you all. There's a sweat equity opportunity in the next couple of days to stuff the backpacks, but they've got the police department who are already in place. But if you'd like to, there are a few spots. The event is actually next Saturday at the Children's Carillon at Tanglewood from 10 to 2. So if you want to see a bunch of kids, but it's a great opportunity. And next year, I'm going to get us more involved. But I thank you so much for your contribution this year. Thank you. Thank you, Lois. And I'll just mention our volunteer opportunities through the club are open to any of you join us sometime. It really makes you feel great to do some work in the community for different nonprofit partners and groups. Next up, we're going to an opportunity to contribute some funds to our foundation and to brag about something personal you want to celebrate or maybe an event in the community that you'd like to announce as well. And our foundation is really important because that's how we raise a lot of the funds for our service budget that we give back to the community.
Hello, I'm Andre Brooks, and I'm the co-chair of the Fun Committee. I want to brag on the Fun Committee, starting with co-chair, where is she, Lois? Our fun person, she always brings the fun. Kenny Brooks, Larry Kufel, Dave Spangler. We have put together an event each month this year, and we have 2 more coming up. August, it's right here. And then Kenny's planning a hike at Explorer Park. I particularly want to brag on Larry Kufel. He has, every time we need a place to have a fun event, has come up with a place, cost, and a lot of fun. So I want to brag particularly on Larry. And also I want to thank Jean and John for their work on the Inner Club. It was amazing. And I want to brag on everybody who stayed to help us clean up after that event. All of you, thank you so much.
Just a couple of quick brags. So John, keep note. I got a few here. One is on Courtney platinized those promenades with the pollinators. So thank you, Courtney, for including the nature park in that. Other brag is on John Pendleton, who put in talk about sweat equity. It was very literally sweat equity this week there. Also Cynthia Gray, who goes so often to the nature park, keeping it weeded and watered. So thank you all for your help with the nature park. Hello, everybody. I'm Courtney Plaster, a fellow Kiwanian, but also a director at Clean Valley Council. Thanks, Sherry, for during the week of August the 4th through the 8th, we'll be visiting local pollinator locations. And so we're going to visit those gardens and invite you all to join us for free, and the pollinators that visit them. These will be including the Kiwanis pollinator garden. So I hope that you'll join us from 10 to 2, as Sherry mentioned, on the 5th. So we'd love to have you there. I just want to brag for a little bit on my fellow Environment Committee member. I wanted to really raise Lee up and tell him taking the initiative for our cleanup on the 12th of July. And so if he was bragged on before, I'll brag on him again. So I really appreciate that. We had a great turnout and lots of Kiwanians. If you were there, raise your hand. Good impact, about 20 bags of litter with only 19 people. So just to mention that. Anyone who's interested, I will be happy to pass out these flyers for everyone. And I just want to brag on Sherry. Yeah, because Sherry does so much. And I have visited the pollinator garden with Rita Joyce. Is Rita here? So Rita and I went lovingly to the Kiwanis pollinator garden because we thought we had a committee meeting. And we did, it was great. And I wanted to brag on Cynthia for helping to lead the way and getting everybody to keep it watered and to keep it weeded and to keep it looking great. And the pollinators were having a great time. So lots of brags. So I got a lot of money to give John. Anyway, thank you all.
Now, like Bowman, I've got a double brag. One is on the foundation. Our foundation goes back a long ways, as some of you remember. I can remember the foundation, if my memory slips a little, but I'm pretty sure it was well under $1,000, and it's in the millions. So that has been some good work by lots of folks. So our foundation is more than worth paying attention to and donating and working for. It's a terrific thing. The other brag is selfish. I really didn't have anything to do with it, but I'm a brag on my daughter, son-in-law, and 2 boys. Boys are in their 20s, I call them boys. One is living and working in Napa, California, but the 3 from here, Tracy, Chuck, and Charlie, went to NASA, and the 4 of them ran a half marathon from Napa to Sonoma. How in the world they did that, I have no clue, and I didn't contribute to that. I couldn't run that far on a bike.
I'm Lee Osborne. I'm here to brag on our Kiwanis Foundation as well. I want to, first I want to make sure that all of you got a letter from me recently. We ran our mid-year campaign to raise funds for the foundation. We have an annual goal of $25,000 stated in our strategic plan, and this is the first step towards that. We do another campaign at the end of the year, so I encourage you to please consider the foundation. Even though it's July and going to be August, it's a good time to write a check for charity. Second, I want to brag on our president, Jean, because she is always keeping the foundation top of mind, and I really appreciate that. She's inviting our Kiwanis presidents, even though they're not officially on the board, to come and participate, so we would keep everything aware of what's going on, and is our past presidents. Not everything happens quickly, and you may remember our past president, Michael Brachta, created a group called the Committee, came to the decision that we wanted to support the club by providing some funds through the foundation to support the board thing that's done through the Kiwanis International Foundation. But it cost $1,000, and it recognized this would be used by the board to recognize outstanding citizens who contribute to our club and our community. Presidents came together under, I'll say, Steve McGraw's leadership And Steve floated the idea of past presidents making a contribution of $1,000 or more to that fund. We got not unanimous support, but we got some pretty strong support for the idea. So it then came down to the foundation actually approving the creation of this entity. As past presidents, if you are one, you will receive a letter from me in the next week. I actually had thought you might have already gotten it. So that's why I said in my letter today, I was going to present my check for $1,000 to the Kiwanis Foundation of Roanoke to kick off or to build that past president's fund. So I give this to you, Jeannie.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lee. And thank you in advance to any past presidents who contribute to that. Next up, it's my pleasure to introduce David Hartman, who is going to introduce today's speaker, who some of you may recognize.
Well, good afternoon. As you all know, I'm Vice President in charge of speakers. And today it gives me tremendous honor to introduce John Montgomery, a good friend, to Roanoke in 1969. His father was a Kiwanian, also moved because of the railroad. And John then went to UVA, graduated in 19 long at UVA, which you all know is a great honor. He was the sports editor of the magazine, The Cavalier. He went on, graduated in 1978 at Roanoke Times in advertising. He was the youngest manager there. He then spent 10 years with Jim Lindsay at the Blue Ridge Business Journal as the general manager. He had his own publication, 2000, Play by Play, a sports publication. John was has been a wonderful Kiwanian. He joined our Kiwanian here at Roanoke 1997. He was distinguished. He became the secretary of our program in 2014 and took on the job of treasurer and secretary in 2017, 2004, 2005. He's been very active in the Capital District. He's been a trustee, lieutenant governor, and the last 3 years, district publication. He, as you know, is our upcoming first gentleman. He's married to Joyce, our upcoming president, and they have a daughter, son-in-law, with 4 grandchildren. I want to just make one last most impressive quality is the fact that he has the ability to make people feel good around him. Whenever you spend time with him, you always walk away feeling a little bit better about yourself. So it gives me much honor to introduce John Montgomery.
Gosh, that was so interesting. I could just have it go on and on. You know, when you think about it, for David Hartman to do that from memory, well, first of all, for him to absorb the information, but to recite it from memory. Unfortunately, the person that's speaking now isn't going to rely on memory. I have specific notes, but I'm very conscious of the time, having been up here for many years as secretary and in other offices, I can honor that. You know, there's a sign that you see in gift shops from time to time that reads something like this: "We buy junk and we sell antiques." And frankly, that's catchphrase is designed to be humorous, but it really, in a nutshell, is the modus operandi of what I do. It's my primary hobby, scouring the countryside here and there for this I believe ultimately will be worth more to somebody than the owners are currently asking. That's really what I do in a sense. Over the years, I've developed a cadre of friends who are on the lookout for me, and some are in this room. I looked at Don Chichester, and I'm not sure Don's plugged in with the shop. You've been a regular customer for a long time, Don, and I appreciate your support. I see Vern Danielson on Zoom, and Vern, when he moved about 5 years ago, we had an arrangement where I helped him move, and the stuff that he could part with, I got, and that was a pretty good deal. There's other, of course, my prize finds, some of which are on the guest speaker's table. We heard about the president's prerogative. I took the secretary's prerogative since the speaker was come by and look at some of the things that are just too good to put in my shop. I told Joyce, I was rehearsing a speech with her, and I said, some of these things are in my trophy case. And Joyce says, that's no trophy case. People are going to think you won some awards. Well, donated it to me. He felt sorry for me and gave me a curio, and some of these things have come from that. Some of you have been the lucky recipient of some of my finds. Ken Briggs is on Zoom today and told me that he'd be on Zoom, and I appreciate him letting me know that because I would have missed him. Ken Briggs was the recipient of a 19 Detroit. I don't know if any of you went to a ball game in Briggs Stadium, but it was a Major League Stadium before Tiger Stadium. Pegram Johnson has gotten a Sports Illustrated or two with shortstop Alan Trammell on the cover, his son's favorite player. Steve McGraw grew a beard a few years ago. It's maybe hard to remember Steve without a beard, but you may recall when he grew the beard, magazine that Betsy had given me at the beginning of the meeting, and Steve went home with it at the end of the meeting. I was proud to recently provide Jenny Lee, who I missed sitting next to up here. It's good to have you here today, Jenny. I gave her a special edition of the Roanoke Times that was recently. I gave her this special edition. It was a serious thing and yet a keepsake, I think. And Jenny said she'd had one of those at one time. And I said, well, how would you like another? And so now she has one of those. I was proud to be associated with the company at the time. If you haven't received such a prize from me, better than that, if you haven't received such a prize from me, well, give me time. There's one on the way. Your time is coming. I realize some of these prizes might end up in the circular file or 513. Some of us know what that is. But I can't seem to help continuing to give the gifts, and I appreciate. I see Alex Barr. She has some LSU cards now that I'm sure you can't do without. When I find something that hits a home run, and occasionally it does, it really does. Lee has some Yale memorabilia from 1931. I know he took that home to his bride proudly that night. Well, that's really what makes it fun for me. That's what I'm motivated to do. I'm proud that it's a hobby. It's strictly a hobby. I can't say it's particularly profitable. I take my day job seriously. I spend a lot of time on it. I'm proud to do it. I want to honor you by continuing to do that. But I do spend my spare time at the antique mall or shopping for the antique mall. David, in that beautiful introduction, I'm glad this is on recording. I can't wait to go home, not to hear my speech, but to hear the introduction. You mentioned that I graduated from UVA. I'm proud to have done that. My major, after I realized I wasn't an engineer, which was actually 3 semesters in, it was pretty tough to switch from engineering to American studies and still graduate on time. I'm proud that I did that. But to do it, I had Passos, William Faulkner, Mark Twain, who I was introduced in last month, as people in the book club know. Well, that's what I studied and majored in. I was proud to finish in 8 semesters. So it was heavy literature and history. And I was several semesters behind people that started at the beginning doing now. I'm interested in things that are collectible. I've always felt that way. Some trinkets that aren't in vogue anymore are what I like to find. You have a rotary dial phone, perhaps? A slide rule for sale? I'm your man. A yardstick with Roanoke advertising? A coin purse? I think I've shown most of these to you, but if anyone has one of these, please don't get away without talking to me. We use them. They're hard to find, but I'm interested if you got them. I remember as an entering first-year college student at UVA as an engineer, my father's going to come up several times today, but he'd been an engineer, which I guess is why I wanted to be one. And he had a dictionary that he'd been given, I think by his parents, we decided, didn't we, Joyce? At a GI Bill at Purdue as a freshman in the fall of 43. His parents gave him this dictionary, it's indexed. I said, hey, that's a great dictionary, Dad. He said, I don't know why you'd be interested in that. There are words in that book that aren't even words anymore. Interesting comment about that. But you know, I wanted to take it with me. And I thought, the fact that there's words in it that aren't words anymore is really what makes it valuable. So I'll admit that. Slide rule isn't as good as a calculator, right? I concede. But I want the slide rule. So that's the core mission of my primary hobby, stocking and reselling rare finds at an antique mall. I've got 3 adjacent booths, and I'm proud to say many of you have been there. And if you haven't, they're open till 6 o'clock today. You can stop by on your way home. It's located on the end of Gus Nix Boulevard, where it runs into 460 T, and the mall is behind the Dairy Queen. How's that for a prime location? Behind the Dairy Queen, come in. I want to match the right item with the right buyer, and there's people that work there all the time. Someone asked me earlier, Steve asked me how often I'm at the mall. Probably 10. We've become good friends. I've been there 13 years, and I have repeat customers, people that know what I have are good values. And if you're interested in this sort of thing, if you're a sports fan or you're a reader, sports and books are largely what I carry. And I sell about 5 items a day. It's not exactly Kroger volume. Checking on their slide rule, it's about 20,000 items. That's a lot of stuff. Sometimes when people say, 3 booths, you must really be doing well. And I say, no, I just have 3 booths. It's mostly a game for me, a hobby. Although I do devote a considerable amount of my free time to it, as I said. I enjoy the thrill of the hunt. And when I can snare something that I sense might be valuable to someone else, that's the ticket, as I said. And if I occasionally earn a profit, hey, and I appreciated what David said about making people feel good. Joyce will tell you I have a lot of down days, but I try not to share them with anybody else. Joyce can tell you differently. There's quite a few of them, actually. So there's always another day, and that's what I look forward to. Some of you are probably familiar with the television show American Pickers. Show of hands, have many of you seen American Pickers? Maybe half, maybe 2/3. It's actually been a pretty successful show. It's on the History Channel for the past 15 years. And there's been some recent alterations. Were the stars of the show for a long time. And Danielle Colby, some of you must know Danielle Colby. You can't forget about her. They've been the lead members of a cast that traverses and combs the back roads of America, hunting for rust. That's what I'm into. I'm glancing at my friend Kenny and Kathy Bricky, who are here today, and they share my interest in rusty gold. We made a deal not too long ago where I got license plates from every state in the United States from this fella, and he's become a great friend. You know what rusty gold is, Kenny. I remember catching the debut of American Pickers in 2010. It actually aired the night of my father's funeral. And it was a diversion, really, for me, as you might imagine. We buried my father at lunchtime. The show, it seemed to me they were very genuine, especially Mike. And I really like it when they tell the person, you're underselling it. It's worth more than that. Now, whether it's an act or not, you got to admire if somebody says, I need to pay you more than what you're asking. And they do that regularly. The show has been a double-edged sword for the industry in general. It's called attention to and popularized the concept of picking. The downside is that just about everyone that enjoys the show thinks they can do it. And so the competition is fierce. And of course, the TV version includes a lot of contrivances, if you know what I mean. By contrivances, I'm talking about things like the made-for-TV setups. You kind of know something. That's kind of a tip-off. And Mike reads the tagline explaining why they're at the house. Now, you're really an insider if you know this word. Honey holes, most of my honey holes require more effort to find than they do. I don't have too many people calling me up saying, I want to get rid of some of my heirlooms and was wondering if you would take them off my hands for a song. Although it does happen, long line waiting for an estate sale to open the door at 8 or 9 or 10 on a Friday or Saturday, exchanging pleasantries with folks on a similar mission, often fellow dealers, some from the Roanoke Antique Mall who are friends of mine. But it's a game, just like you would play cards or poker or golf or pool. Sometimes the sales are several miles away from my home, where you're competing with a few dozen other shoppers on a similar mission, trying to be at the front of the line or making a beeline to where the license plates might be stored. You don't even know exactly where they are. When the door opens, you're like looking for license plate. Or having your shopping lists prepared after studying the ad is part of the shtick. I remember going to a sale in Raleigh Court not too long ago. The sale started at 8. I was the second person in line, arriving at 6:30. Now, no word for the first 45 minutes when the person running the sale hadn't arrived yet. Well, I'd seen advertised that the sale featured the first 6 issues of Sports Illustrated, which, as Kenny knows, debuted in 1954. And it's been a dream of mine to acquire all of the, and as you might imagine, storing 70 years of a weekly magazine requires some space, doesn't it, Joyce? It requires some. Well, I didn't have the first 6 issues, and they really are the most valuable. So standing in line for 90 minutes, you begin to chat with other customers as they arrived. And after a while, the guy in front turned to me and said, "They're supposed to have the first 6 issues of Sports Illustrated. And that's why I'm here," he said. But I'll tell you after the meeting how that worked out. Have any of you ever been to the Monster Flea Market? Show of hands. Any of you been to the Monster? Twice a year at the Bergman Center. Started to say Roanoke Civic Center. At the Bergman Center twice a year. Well, there's a version at the Bergman Center that twice a year. It's not KPAD, but it's not bad. And it generally runs 7 to 3. About 200 dealers they're set up hawking their wares. Of course, the downside is the prices are higher than the best deals. But I usually find something. You're much better off dealing with the original owner, or better yet, someone who's inherited a lot of stuff they simply don't want and are seeking to unload it as quickly as possible for $1 or $2. If you're in that list, I can help you. The best source I have found for this type of actually tied to what's coming up, and that is the world's longest yard sale, which starts the first Thursday of August. Now, when I agreed to present today, I didn't really think about how close it was to the world's longest yard sale. This event starts a week from tomorrow, 90-mile weave on Route 127 running from Addison, Michigan to Gadsden, Alabama. There are other sales of this nature around the country and in our state, and it sounds like Jenny's been to some of those. One's on 29 and one's on Route 11. Wytheville has something similar on a small scale. But Route 127 is the granddaddy for summer since 2006. I'm not sure it's going to work out for me, frankly, this year. I got a lot of things going on in Kiwanis and otherwise, but if there's any way I can make it, I can tell you, I'm going to look and see, check my calendar. You can go to Kiwanis, by the way, and still make the sale. I know that. I've done it since 2006. There's a lot of sideshows, including food, drink, and entertainment. But the primary draw is unquestionably yard sales. A lot of yard sales. Thousands of yard sales. There's a lot of logistics to refine to make it work. But once you know where you're going and what point in the sale, which direction you're going to go when you get there, the Buc-ee's there. So maybe some people will just stay at Buc-ee's and not do the sale. But anyway, you can go north or south from there, and you can experience as much of it as you want. Well, I remember reading an article in the early 2000s about the world's longest yard sale. I was intrigued by it. I'm winding down here. I'm conscious of the time, Gene. A few weeks after I read this article in the newspaper, I ran into someone at a party, a friend of Joyce's out in Montvale, and the person at the party had been to the world's longest yard sale, and I said, I just wonder, in 4 days, how far, I mean, I know it goes, this woman said, well, I started in Cincinnati, and I probably went 50 miles. I said, 50 miles? I could walk that far in 4 days. But she said, well, it just depends on how many sales you go to. And that's exactly the truth. You got sales all over hundreds of towns where many people are there. There might be 1 million that are on Route 127 next weekend. The prices are going to be higher when you go to situations like the big sale where you have a tent filled with vendors. But if you decide to make it worthwhile, I can say that the deviations off the beaten path are worth it. The signs, the ubiquitous signs that have a piece of plywood or a sheet that says huge such is embellished. I can tell you the quarter mile is diminished. It's going to be farther than you think, but when you've hit one, you figure it's really worth it. And you know, over the years, you get to know people that are having the sales. Joyce has probably been 15 of those years, although she's gotten a little more selective. So some great help to me. I got to tell you that Joyce found a Kiwanis sign for me, the kind that you would see going into a small town. You know, we have a Kiwanis club. It's probably roughly this size. It cost a little bit, but it was just what I wanted. And actually, until Mike O'Brocta placed that sign at Kiwanis events, and it's in my garage, and I'm proud to have it. I can tell you that my good friend David Perry, and thank you for showing the slides today, in a flattering way, said my real name is Elmer, not John. It's Elmer, apparently a reference to, well, what would you say, David? Why do you call me Elmer? Well, I can tell you, last year on the yard sale, I had to buy a sign that said Elmer. So I purchased this sign at Elmer. I go up to the guy, I forgot what it was, a few bucks. And he looked at me and he said, you know, when I got, and I said, well, it's too long a story to go into right now. I appreciate your time. I hope afterwards you look at some of the things that I kept to myself, and I'm proud to be a member of the club. Thank you.
All the years, this is the first time John has ever spoken for a program for the first style. His honorarium is going back to the foundation. I'm not going to ask for questions today because I know you guys have a lot of questions for John, and he'll be here every week in perpetuity for you to ask those questions. Next week, we start a new month, August, and we have a slate of speakers all related to member Dr. Lee Learman has coordinated those speakers for us. So we've got Dr. Lisa Ulrich from the Carilion School of Medicine, and her topic is taking. So I think that will be very, very interesting. And I hope to see you all with us next week and maybe bring a guest as well. Thank you for being here. Enjoy your week. We are adjourned.